Today I'm going to talk about actionable steps that you can actually take from today after a breakup or any kind of heartbreak or any kind of like sad things that make you feel lost in your early 20s. So I think whatever you do, you always need to come up with a certain mindset or a sense of purpose first to make sure that you're not getting lost taking those actions. For me, speaking from the experience of breakup, I think I I really couldn't emphasize the importance of acceptance enough. I already covered like this feeling and other kind of emotional management in my three previous videos. But this is going to be the last one, which I'm so grateful for because I have so many other topics to talk about. And it's quite embarrassing, like, to still talk about this after a month. But I truly couldn't emphasize the importance of acceptance. This is something that I would definitely tell my 20-year-old self because um, when I was first going through that, I had so many feelings that I just didn't expect from a heartbreak. Not just sadness, but anger, denial, rumination of like what could have been, how I could have acted so differently. But I think it's easier once you accept that, like, it's over no matter what you could have said, what you could have done. It just simply doesn't matter to even spend a minute thinking about it because it is over and it just doesn't come back. It's not a recurring present moment. And I definitely get like how some people would get mad, and this is also the exact same feeling that I had right after the breakup. But think about what exactly you're angry about. I think for me, I wasn't angry about that person specifically because I wasn't too surprised when I heard about the lore. Um, I was more so angry about the fact that I knew the potential of this, but I didn't leave them early for, you know, tolerating those kind of behaviors. I stayed like that for a bit until I had to tell myself like you need to sort this out because I can't go to work with these feelings every day. I made a mistake and that's fine as long as I take this as a learning opportunity. And that's how I started to learn and practice self-compassion, to forgive myself for believing in someone. It's really super unrelated and it's just kind of extreme obviously, but the Green River Killer, a murderer in America who murdered over 50 women, was the sweetest husband to his wife for 10 years. Obviously, I'm not trying to draw any like analogy with this uh, crazy man, but I'm just trying to say that it's really difficult to grasp exactly who they are if they are on different agenda as you. If you are surprised or like encountered an unexpected result, just make sure that you practice self-forgiving because for not knowing better and making the best decisions that you knew at the time. I have experienced how my previous partners became totally different people, living different life after the breakup. Um, and that kind of made me think that, oh, even if we get back together, it's never going to be the same. And I guess that was the moment that I realized that I can never truly know an individual, and how they're going to change, etc. There are so many different types of people, whether that aligns with my own concept of right and wrong, but different types of people in the world that don't always think and believe and behave in a way that I would. So what I'm trying to say is that really forgive yourself for not knowing better and making the best decisions at the time. I think sadness is very much the most difficult emotion because it comes with the acceptance. You Once you accept it, then you also accept the reality that you need to start grieving for that loss. Sometimes the best and healthiest way to greet this emotion is to feel it for a while and accept that you're sad. It sounds really irresponsible, but it is kind of mind shifting if you just sit with this feeling in your desk, in your bed for a little bit. It's extremely overwhelming. It's like overwhelming wave. But I started to feel a little bit more comfortable with this kind of feeling after reading this book called Bonjour Tristesse. It's called Sadness. It's Hello Sadness by Francois Sagan, a very famous French writer, which taught me how to say, quite literally, like the book title, how to say hello to sadness when it intermittently comes in like a wave. What also helped me personally is a thought that if we're meant to be together, then like we will be together. Just like the red string theory. So you can also think that if you and the other person are like truly meant to be, then there will be some other time. Maybe that's like after you guys have grown up, maybe that's after like 5 years, 10 years, but until then, you just need to focus on working on yourself. Lastly, accept that the process of grief is like this. So have that self-compassion when you are keep falling back and forth. It's very natural. And also have that self build your self-trust to believe that you will make your future happen in a way that you want and meet your partner once you have developed yourself. So having covered that mindset, the next actionable step is either deleting or hiding the photos. I honestly regret deleting all the photos so much because I'm now at the stage of just like looking back and just smiling at the good memories. But at the same time, like I don't really regret so much because like I know that I would have been like going through those photos and just ruminating, which would have taken longer time for me to go move on. Either hide it or if you don't have courage in yourself, then like delete it maybe. More importantly, be super intentional of like what you're consuming because like I said in my previous videos, algorithm will show you some things that match your situations, and then if you the more you consume it, the harder, like the more it feeds you, so it's going to be harder for you to like take mind off from that heartbreak. Turn off certain keywords and be intentional with the music you listen to. Because my music is quite like somber, I replace it with like podcasts for a while. Third, do your you thing. For example, I love creating playlists whenever like for each situations or each travel destinations I go to. So I created this emotional support playlist with songs that I will listen to once I hit that travel destinations that I set for this year, and also Pinterest vision board for everything that I want to, which gave me so much joy to rekindle with like all the childhood dreams that I had, all like the Legos that I wanted to build. Lastly, travel, even if it's just a nearby city. I think budgeting is extremely important, which is what I'm going to talk about in my next video. I think traveling when you're 20s has to be one of your main priorities in your spending pot. Even if it's just nearby city, you can show yourself like how big the world is and how many people there are. When I went to Japan, I was so surprised by how different Japan is from my home country. Like Japan was so like ubiquitous and cosmopolitan that I was like so mesmerized, but also at the same time it was so weirdly reassuring that there are so many people here. Like there's definitely going to be one or maybe even two people who are going to be tailor-made for me. Sounds very selfish, but that's what I was thinking at the time. And lastly, plan your weekends and dedicate those free time to travel and go see how big the world is, which doesn't make the problem itself smaller, but offers your mind a bigger capacity to accommodate that problem. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'll see you in part two.